Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a Monday morning here in the UK. The rain's just stopped and we're back on the One Pound Yacht. Now, last week was a washout for me. One, weather, two, work commitments in a day job. And I've now got a week off and we're now going to spend another week of working on this lovely boat, which is always exciting. And it always makes me happy to get here to realise there's so much to do. But I like to keep it speeded up for you. I don't like to just drag things out. I like to see progress being done, stuff moving forward. And unfortunately, I'm still on the sanding process. So I've come back this morning. Now it's stopped raining and worked out there's still mountains and mountains of sanding to do. I do appreciate those guys in the comments who've mentioned other methods of removing this paint. I am going to try a method today, which is all may not agree with, but to be honest with you, whatever I do, someone will disagree with and someone will think it's great. So where do we start? Like I say, there's lots more sanding to do. And there's kind of only so much sanding I need to document for you. I will document stuff, of course, all the way through. But at the same time, there's no point in me filming sanding for an entire day. There's nothing more painful than watching somebody sand all day long. Even if I use time-lapse, it's still to me when I go to edit this footage, I think, really? A lot of sanding. So currently we're in day 7 in reality of my work on this boat so far. So this morning's now day 8. So where do we go from here? Now, obviously it got jet washed. We removed a lot of things, removed the davits, removed some of the LED strip lights that had been placed around the boat. And what it has done is left many, many, many holes all over this boat. So there's a lot of glass work to do, a lot of epoxy and work to do. Unfortunately, because of the UK beautiful British weather we have, some of it's kind of out of the question right at this moment in time. So what I think about doing is, I think we might have to hit inside. So much to do inside. Obviously, there's windows to still change. Loads of epoxy work to do, as I've just said. But there's also some rigging to do. So as you can see, I kept the rusty forestays and backstays because I need to get them made up in the correct material, which is, of course, is stainless steel. And there's so much to do from here. So that's one of the jobs I need to do, get them made up. This week, I feel like if it rains, we'll come indoors and we'll start inside here. The downside is it rains more in here than it does outside because all the things I've removed so far is creating major leaks. So there's a few things. There was a piece of perspex was put in the coach house roof. Originally, that would have been solid fiberglass and solid roof. I'll just show you that. So as you can see, the coach house roof had a piece of perspex put in. I removed that on the previous video. That shouldn't be there. It should be a solid coach house roof. What we need to do with that is we're not going to reinstate any perspex. What we will do is we'll reglass that and make it back to an original coach house roof. So as you can see, looking forward, we've got a hatch to sort out. That needs readdressing. All the holes that were drilled through for them LED strip lights that were put around the boat, they've got to all be reglassed over from the inside and then epoxied on the outside. And of course, all the loose paint's now removed. There's still lots of loose paint, so I will hit this with a sander just to kind of give it a nice leveling up. We need to replace all this timber. I've kept all the templates that was removed out of here to kind of redo this. This one here, all the templates are there. And some of them might be salvageable, but we'll have a look and we'll see. But as you can see internally, there's also an awful lot to do in here as well. All the electrics need to be stripped back completely and start again with that. There wasn't much in it, but there was just lots of different things in different places. We're never going to be able to repair some of the stuff, but we can make it fresh as possible and get it all nice and clean and tidy again. That's kind of where we're up to internally. So there's literally a good few days of non-stop work inside. As you guys can see, there's just an awful lot to do. But talking about it doesn't get it done. So I think we need to start some work. And the rain's just begun. But let's get to it. Okay, so reading some of the comments, someone says, why don't you try some sort of paint remover? Now, I don't like using paint remover on gel coat, but worth a go. So I did purchase this stuff here, Paint Panther. As you can see, these areas here are very, very thick. I know I've got to remove the windows, but what I'm trying to do is, because of British weather, and it isn't covered this boat, I'm trying to keep it as dry as possible inside for when I move to that area. But I am just going to try and remove this with this stuff here. Let's see how that turns out. Just dab a bit on here. Oh, it's very gel-like. Just try a test area first and see what happens. Let's move that out of the way. It's very thick. It's like a big thick gel. So we'll just give a test area and see what happens. Leave it for 15 minutes. Let's come back in 15 minutes and see what it's like. So I'm now only a few minutes in and I can already see the paint softening a lot. We'll just keep on monitoring it. I ain't going to leave it on too long. I'll let it do its job, try and get it off, and we'll wash it down just to stop it from creating any further gel coat issues. We don't want it melting the gel coat underneath. But this is just a test. I've nothing to lose. I've got a serious amount of epoxy to do anyway, so I can't really see me creating any more damage than what we've already got to repair. So we'll just come back in a minute. So as you can see, it's not even been 15 minutes yet. I just thought I'd give it a quick scraping to see how it goes. And look at this. The years of paint. Oh, look at that. Nice. It's just coming off. Okay, so because this is experimental, I didn't leave it on too long, but it has took the first layer of thick paint off. So I'm going to give it another dose. Let's try that. So I do feel this method's kind of worked. I didn't leave it on too long. Didn't leave it its full length of time because what I didn't want to happen is melt the gel coat completely. And it hasn't affected the gel coat whatsoever. I know the gel coat's extremely rough, but at the same time, I didn't want to create more problems. So if you have a look at this, as you can see, it's took out at least 5 layers of paint off around them windows. And I can safely say it's took all the paint off quite nicely. But we're now going to find every other part of paint that needs to come off. And I'm going to use the same method. So let's go. I've got to get this paint area off here next. As you can see on the deck head, it's very, very thick here. Also realised to the mast that use an XLR speaker connection to power the mast light, the all-round white. So it needs a correct fitting on this. This is the incorrect one. An XLR is probably going to fail immediately if it already hasn't. So we'll get rid of that, and then we'll put a proper deck fitting here. A sealed one when we come to rebuild that. I need to chop these off and get rid of this paint. Let's get that going. That's them cables out the way. So with great fun, we got all that off, all that paint. It was very, very thick. I removed that, and we got it all off round this side as well. As you can see, there's still a lot more to do, but rather than boring you with time lapse, it was easier just to carry on with it without really documenting that little piece, because how much do you want to watch of removing paint with a paint stripper? Not much. So we'll move on and carry on getting some more paint off. And eventually we'll have all the paint off. Let's keep on going. Now, just a quick word of warning, guys. It's not damaging the gel coat on this particular boat. I've just said don't go and use this on your nice new shiny boat. Me just experimenting, so I'm not worried about what damage you could possibly cause on this particular £1 pound yacht. So all I'm just saying to you is don't go out and buy that expecting to strip a boat one day and it'll work perfectly for you, because it might not. So I can safely say, after hours and hours of painting on the paint stripper, it's actually worked. So it's got it more or less all off in the areas that I need to get off. There's still all these deck fittings have all got to come off. But what I'm trying to do, guys, is I'm trying to just blitz it whilst we haven't got rain, because unfortunately every single day I come down and we go to start something and set everything up, especially setting cameras up, as you guys know, anyone who does YouTube, and then it pours down and then the work stops. So I'm trying to get as much as I can done whilst I've got weather, because I can then go internally and start doing internals the second it rains. There's so much to do, but what I'm going to do next is I need to remove this brackets, solar panel on the sliding hatch, and just start removing some bits so we can actually get stuck in. So let's get that done now. I wonder if this one's fastened in really well. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty good, that. Oh, yes. That one wasn't even wired up. Oh, yes, it was. Wow. Another LED strip. So, another LED strip gone. Matt's just over there working hard, look. In the background. Say hello, Matt.